Hello friends, welcome to my video. Today I'm going to talk about C-sharp caller information attribute. It helps us to get caller information of any method. We'll see in detail what these caller information attributes are and how it is used in a program. It helps us to avoid repetitive code in logging and tracing scenarios and much more. Before we get started, just a quick reminder to subscribe my channel, hit the red button and don't forget to click on the little bell icon. That way you will be notified every time I upload a new video. Okay, without any further delay, let's get started. C-sharp caller information attributes. C-sharp caller information attributes help us to get information about the caller. Here the information means like method name, file path, line number and argument information to its data. So if you want to get these type of information, we are going to use this caller information attribute. Okay. And when we are going to use this caller information attributes, we will have to use this namespace system.runtime.compiler service. Okay. So there are four caller information attributes that help us to get the caller information. So first three, caller member name, caller file path, caller line number. So these were introduced in CISA 5.0 and it is available in the ever version. Okay. The last one, the caller argument expression. It is introduced in C# 10.0. Okay. So caller member name, it gives the information about the method or property name of the caller and it is of a string type. Caller file path. It is also a type of a string, but it tells about the full path of the source file that contains the caller. Caller line number. It is going to give us the line number in the source file from which this method is called. The last one, caller argument expression. It is nothing but the string representation of the argument expression. So with the help of these four caller information attribute, we are capable to know about which method that is available in which file at a specific line number with what argument expression it passed while calling a specific method. Okay, now if we talk about its usage, C-sharp caller information attributes, also known as the CIAs, are useful in tracing, writing logging function, creating diagnostic tool, and etc. It helps us to avoid repetitive codes in logging or tracing scenarios. Example for passing method name, file path, line number prior to C# caller information. In a practice, prior to C# caller information, we had three ways. Hard-coded using System.Diagnostic StackFrame class method or using System.Reflection. So either these three ways, we can achieve the same functionality prior to C# caller information. So hard-coded way is not a good practice altogether. If we talk about System.Diagnostic StackFrame class method or System.Reflection method, these options are okay to get required information, but it takes lots of time to get the actual information. And we have to get these information every time whenever we want to get such information. So there are two issues associated with it. First, it's time taken and lots of code need to be written. That of course it degrades the performance. And the second, we have to write code repetitively, right? So considering these issues in mind, these are creator introduced caller information attributes that improve the performance and at the same time we don't need to write the repetitive code. Okay, so let's first dive into it how we write the program prior to caller information attributes. And then we will see how we can improve our code with caller information. Okay, so if you see the example over here, I have written this static method write log that accepts str method, str file path and int line number. So three attribute it is just going to get received in write log method, right? And whatever the information that we are receiving from these parameters, we are going to use it into this console.write line, like method str method name got called at line number, link line number in file this particular file path, right? Okay, so the method that is going to call this write log method, they need to have handy these information like method name, str file path, int line number, right? So how they are going to get it those information before calling this write log method, right? So there are three ways. First way, hard coded method name, file path, line number, which is not a good practice at all, right? So if you see here write log main method, right, it is just passing main and then this is the hard coded path, right? D demo caller information attributes demo caller information attributes demo, and the file name program.cs, and then line number 13. Okay, so these three information we are passing as a hard coded value while calling this write log method, right? So that is the first way, which is not altogether at a good practice. Okay, second way, we are going to use System.Diagnostic StackFrame class method. Suppose if you want to fetch this method name, right? So for getting method name, from where it is going to get executed, okay, so we are going to use this stack from class. We will have to first instantiate this System.Diagnostic.stack from class, and we need to pass which frame that we are going to pick it. So we are going to pick it from the 0 and the true value, and we are going to get method dot name, right? So once we get the name of that particular method, we are going to store into this var method variable itself. Okay, similarly we are going to retrieve file path. For file path, again we are going to use this get file name method, right? So once we call those things, then we are going to get this file path that we have stored into this file path variable, and then we are going to fetch this file line number. Okay, so get file line number, we are going to use the method of the stack from class, by which we are going to get this file line number, and that we are storing into this variable file line number. Okay, and then once we have these three information, method, file path, file line number, then we are going to pass it into this write log while calling this method, right? Write log method, file path, file line number. So that is the second way how we are going to use those, method, file name and file line number beforehand while calling this write log method. Okay, once we get, we are just going to call this write log. If you see the code over here, there is a need, whenever we are going to call this write log method, we need to have this information handy, then only we can pass as a parameter, right? And also if you see the code over here, it's somewhat, we are going to use System.Diagnostic stack from class. So many codes we are going to write for getting method, file name and file line number, and it is going to call every time whenever we are going to call write log method, right? And it is also, you know the performance, it just degrades. Okay, okay, let's see about the third way. Third way is basically hybrid. We are going to get the method name from the System.Reflection, and file path and file line number we are going to get it from the System.Diagnostic, like we have achieved from the second way. So here third way, we are going to get the method name while calling this System.Reflection.method based.get current method, and then we are going to take the name, right? And that name we are going to store into this method variable. Similarly, file path and file line number, we are going to get it from the StackFrame method, like get file name or get file line number, right? And then at the last, we are going to call this write log method, where we are passing this method, file path, file line number as an argument. And if you see the output, we got the output here, right? Method main got called at line number 13 in file this one. Similarly, from the second way, we have used the System.Diagnostic. It is also gave me the method name, like main got called at line number 27 in file this file name, right? Similarly, for the third way, we are going to achieve the same output. Method main got called at the line number 35 in file this one, right? Because this write log statement, it is written at the line number 35 of the program file, and it is under this main method. So all those information we captured and printed into this console window via this statement, console.writeLine method, all those. These were the option prior to C# caller information attribute for getting this method name, file path, line number, and then we are passing designated method, right? Okay, so now we are just going to execute this program into Visual Studio and witness the output. Okay, so here we are on Visual Studio. If you see here, this is the same program, only the changes I have made, I have just written these two statements so that it will be differentiate which way we are trying to depict it. Okay, so this is the first way, this is the second way, this is the third way how we are going to capture method name, file path and line number. Okay, and if you notice here, this is the write log method where we are accepting this method name, str file path, int line number, and then we are printing nothing but into this console window. Okay, so the first way, this is the hard coded way. right? Where we are just typing main, this is the path, and this is the line number as a hard coded value. Okay, and in the second way, I'm just going to use the System.Diagnostic stack from class for getting this method file path and file line number. You notice how we are going to get this method name. We need to write new System.Diagnostic.StackFrame 0 to get method and name, and we are storing into this variable method. Similarly, we are receiving file math using this get file name method, file line number using this get file line number. And then once we have this information handy, then we are going to call this write log method, and we are passing method file path file line number. Okay, and similarly in the third way also, I'm just going to fetch this method name with the help of get current method dot name from the System.Reflection. So file path, again we are going to get it from this stack frame only, and file line number again from the stack frame only. And then we are going to call this write log, right? So same program here, I have just added this method one as an extra method, and this is the method one. Here I'm just trying to depict it. If we are going to call this method one, then also we need to capture these information, right? What is the current method name, what is the file name, what is the get file number, all those information. Whenever we are going to call this write log method, so we need to capture these three information: method, file path, file line number, and then we are going to call this write log method, right? Here we have main method, we capture all those information, and then we are passing into this write log. Similarly, in method one, we capture all these three information, and then we are calling this write log method. Okay, let me execute this program and see the output. Okay, if you see here, output got appear into this console window, right? The first way, the hard coded name method name, right? So it just capture all those information into this method, and then this information got printed over here. Method main got called at line number 13 at this file location, right? Second way, we have captured this method name from this stack from class method, and then this method main got called at line number 23 in file this one. Third way, using method name from System.Reflection file path and using the System.Diagnostic. So here also we got captured this method name as a main, and then line number is a 33, and this is the file location, right? And at the last, we call this method one. We call this method one. Inside that, we are calling that write log method, and there also we are going to we capture those method name, file path, and line number. And from there it is just showing method one got called at line number 45, which is available in this program.cs file. This is the way when scholar information was not available, introduced by C#. So we were using this practice for getting information like method name, file path, and line number. And then we are having those information, and then we are calling that particular method, and we are passing these information as a parameter so that it will be captured in that method, and we will be able to log those information somewhere. Example of C# caller information attribute. Okay, so here we are going to see caller information attribute uses, how we are going to use it in a. At the last example, we have seen the write log method where we were accepting three attributes, right? Str method name, str file path, and str line number. Here in this method, we are going to use this caller information attributes, right? So if you notice here, this method static void write log, where we have use this caller member name attribute, and then we have given name a string str method name, and then default value is a blank. Caller file path, I have just given this name as a str file path, and this is the blank. Caller line number, which is of the int data type, that's what we have just given this int line number is equal to 0. So default value we have given for these attributes variable, right? So this is the way how we are going to attach this caller information attributes to a method, so that we don't need to pass those information when we are going to call this write log method. Okay, so once we get this information into this write log, then we are just going to use those things into this console window. Console.writeLine method, str method name got called at line number this one at this file location, right? And if you see how we are going to call this write log method, we just need to write log. That's it. We don't need to pass this method name, file path, int line number that we were using previously, right? Here, whenever we are just going to call this write log method inside this main method of this program class, it is going to get captured automatically in this write log method. From where this write log method called? Here in the case, it is the main method, right? Str file path. So this write log method, where it is written, I mean, it just give me the location of particular file. So here this is the program.cs file which is located at this particular location. So those file path will be getting automatically. We don't need to give it hard coded, or maybe we don't need to use it, get information from System.Diagnostic, StackFrame class, or maybe using this reflection, all those information, right? So we just need to call this write log method, and in this write log method we are just going to capture str method name, str file path, int line number automatically. That's the beauty of this caller information attribute that was introduced in C#. Okay, so this is the simple way of representation how we are going to use this C# caller information attributes. Okay, if you see the output, we are getting at this similar what we were getting earlier in the prior practice, right? So here if you see method main got called at line number 14 in file, and this is the file location. Okay, let me execute this program into the Visual Studio and see the output. Okay, so here we are in Visual Studio. So here the same program with the help of this caller information attribute, I have written this write log method where we have attached this attribute caller member name for str method name, caller file path for str file path, caller line number for int line number, right? And we have given this default value altogether. And then those information that we have collected into this write log information, write log method, that we are putting into this console.writeLine window, right? Method str method name got called at line number this. And in main method, we are just going to call this write log, right? We don't need to pass any parameter like str method name, file path, int line number. So we just need to write log. That's it. And we will be getting all those information automatically into this write log method. Then we are going to use this into this console window. One thing we need to notice over here, whenever we are going to use this, caller information attribute in C#, we will have to use this namespace using system.runtime.compiler services, because these attributes are part of this namespace. So first we need to use this namespace, and then we are going to use this attribute inside a program. Okay, so this is the small program as a part of demo, right? So let me execute this program and see the output. Okay, if you see, the output got appear into this console window, right? So if you see the output, method main got called at line number 19, 1919, right? In file, this is the location where we have this file location program.cs. Example of caller argument expression along with other caller information attribute in C#10. So here we are going to see example of caller argument expression, how we are going to use in C#10. So for that, I have written on a small program.cs, right, where we have this class program. Inside that we have main method. So here we have just called this write log method where we are passing this arithmetic expression 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5. Then whatever the information we are just pass those things, we are going to capture into this write log method. So in write log method, I have associated all these caller method attributes like caller member name, caller file path, caller line number, and this is the last attribute caller argument expression, which is a part of C#10. We have used it. So how we are going to use it, let's understand it. It's very, very important. So let's suppose this write log where we are passing this expression 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5, and which is of type int, right? So here we just write int expression. So whatever the expression that we are going to get it is a part of value that we are going to receive in this variable, right? Int expression. And here in caller argument expression, we just pass, okay, which expression we want to capture. So we want capture this int expression. So we just need to write caller argument expression int expression, and we are going to capture this int expression in the form of a string representation. That's what we have just given the variable name over here, a string expression, and this is the default value as a blank, right? So whatever the information that we have passed and captured into this write log method, we have just writing those things into the console window. The first statement says console.writeLine expression and int expression. So expression, it is nothing but this is the string expression. So basically it is just going to capture whatever the expression that we are passing while calling this write log method, right? So those expression will get captured in the form of a string, and that's what we are trying to print it over here in console window. Expression equal, and then int expression means actual value, right? Int expression that we have received it into this write log method. And the other information like str method name, int line number, str file path, that we have captured as a part of these attributes, right? Caller member name, caller file path, caller line number. So if you see the output over here, 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 equal to 15, that got printed as a part of the first statement in the output, right? And this statement output, it is coming from this line, console.writeLine expression equal to int expression. In expression, we have captured a string representation of this int expression, right? So whatever the expression, it is passed as a part of calling of this write log method. So these are the expression, right? 1 plus. So similar information got captured using this caller argument expression, and that's what we have printed over here, right? So that's the beauty of the caller argument expression, where we are going to capture whatever the expression that we are passing as a part of argument while calling this write log method. So that's what this output is depicting, these information. 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 is equal to 15, and then the next statement from this console.writeLine statement, it is coming over here. Method main got called at line number 14 in this file location. So that's the way how we are going to use this caller argument expression in C#. Okay, let's execute this program in Visual Studio and see the output. Okay, so here we are on Visual Studio. Same program that we have discussed, we have just pasted it over here, right? So let me execute this program and see the output. Okay, so output got appear into this console window, right? So demo of caller argument expression in C#, right? Where we are just passing this 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 as an arithmetic expression to this write log method, right? And we are capturing into this write log method, and with the help of caller argument expression, we are able to do so. So we have captured those things and we are printing into this console window. 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 equal to 15. And this is the method main got called at line number 17 in this file location, right? So expected output got appear into this console window with the help of caller argument expression and the other attributes of caller information. Okay, so now that brings me to end of my session. To sum up, in this video, we saw what C# caller information attributes are. We also saw how to use it in a program. We discussed about new attribute, caller argument expression attribute, that was added in the caller information attribute category in C# 10 for capturing the argument expression. That's all for this video, guys. If you like this video, hit the like button, share it with your friends and colleagues, subscribe to my channel if you haven't done already. Thanks for watching. See you next video.